So if you're a beginner looking to get into digital marketing, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that step by step. Again, even if you are a beginner. The digital marketing industry is nearly $1 trillion industry. That basically means there is a ton of money to be made within this industry. For me, stepping into the digital marketing industry really kind of started back in 2018. I was still in college. I was on a semester abroad in Singapore, and I got to see so many people that were living the digital nomad lifestyle, right? People that would travel with their backpack, maybe a small suitcase, and then their laptop. That was it. They would sometimes work online for a company, just working remote. But this was pre-COVID, so a lot of companies weren't doing a lot of remote work. So most of the people that I saw that were doing this had their own businesses doing digital marketing. And so seeing them just showed me, like, that's the path. I don't want to be in the office. I don't want to have to get that, typical 9 to 5. I want to have that. I want to have that freedom. So stupidly, I went into my final year of college knowing that that's what I wanted to do, but I didn't really do much about it. I watched a lot of YouTube videos. I tried to understand as much as I could about what digital marketing is and how I could use it based on what I already knew and my past experiences. But I just didn't do it. I didn't get the courage to go and actually start. And so I only actually got started as I was graduating college, in the kind of last couple of months of being in college, when I really felt the pressure that if I don't do it now, I will have to get a job because I can't graduate and not have anything lined up. And so I kind of stumbled into it where I did a little bit of freelance work, offering some basic services to this online fitness coach. I would create some content for his Instagram profile. I would take some sales calls for his fitness coaching business. I would kind of just do whatever he needed done. He'd ask me, could I do it? I'd research how to do it and figure it out along the way. Later that year, I started my own digital marketing agency, which actually turned into a 7-figure business. That means we did over $1 million in revenue. So I know digital marketing can change your life, but you have to know how to approach it if you're a beginner to make sure that this is something that actually works for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you exactly what I wish I knew back then when I started, and hopefully show you very clearly the trap that most people fall into that keeps most people stuck making zero, absolutely nothing within digital marketing. So a lot of people right now have a very weird view of what digital marketing is. You see, digital marketing is simply the practice of doing marketing digitally, online, for businesses. It is not what most online gurus are telling you. You see, a lot of online gurus right now are saying that digital marketing is you branding yourself online as somebody who knows how to make money online, and then you resell a digital product that you didn't even create to other people that want to learn how to make money online. And there's nothing wrong with that business. It's just that's not what digital marketing actually is. And that business has a ton of flaws that I'm not going to get into right here. So knowing that it is as simple as finding an online service that businesses need and then offering it to businesses should make this a lot more clear for you. Now, in my case, what I focused on was social media management and content creation. Simply put, I would manage Instagram pages for companies. That was the main thing that we did. We would sit with a client and plan out their content for the month. We would go and create that content with a team of graphic designers and video editors, a very hands-off service for the client, and then we would go and post that content to their social media. All in all, this led to, for example, my first client paying $1,200 per month, and our profit on that was probably about 90%. We had a very small team, a couple of designers that would help us out creating content, and then we would post the content from there, which was a pretty easy service to deliver. But what I want to make sure that you don't do is all the things that I did thinking that I needed these to be done to be able to do digital marketing. For example, I went and got business cards that I never really used. I built a fancy website. Well, it wasn't that fancy, but for me back then, it took a lot of time. So I spent hours on that and I didn't really need it. I have students within my program now making 10 to 20K a month and they don't have websites. So if you want to build one, great, but it's not needed. And ultimately, in 2018, right, that year before I actually started this, when I did my research, I did about 5 cold calls, picked up the phone in my local area, dialed a couple of businesses, offered them help, right? Said, hey, I can do your digital marketing. Got rejected by most of them and then gave up. This is a massive industry, tons of money can be made, but please don't give up after just contacting a few companies. What I didn't realize was I had to learn the right approach, how to frame it in the right way to make sure it was a service that they actually wanted and were willing to pay for. So to recap, digital marketing is finding companies that need help with marketing services. Through that, we're going to learn how to identify the businesses that actually need your help. We're going to learn about their specific problems and make sure that the service you offer, the type of marketing you do, matches their problem. We're going to deliver measurable results, making sure that the client actually gets a result, which means they're most likely to keep paying you month after month after month. And you're going to build systems. You don't want to be working 24/7, right? You're probably getting into this to, yes, make more money, but have more freedom, time freedom and location freedom. So we need to make sure that you've got systems in place to allow your business to make money even when you're not working. That business I started got to $1 million in about 3 years. We didn't do that selling courses or repackaging somebody else's digital product and reselling it online. And looking back, it's funny because I really thought back then, that year where I just researched and didn't do anything, I really felt that I wasn't ready. I felt like I needed to become a much more confident person and that I needed to somehow get years of experiences, maybe working in a company doing marketing for them. Reality is, I got that experience and I got that confidence when I actually just started. It's not something you have to build up first. You'll build it up as you go. You see, right now is probably the best time to get into digital marketing, right? If we take social media as a service, right? Just managing social media pages for companies. Back when I started in 2019, there was a lot of companies that saw social media as something that was important and something they would invest money into, but it wasn't really necessary for a lot of companies. Then we had 2020, we had COVID, and everything after that has just accelerated the demand from companies, because now companies, you'll rarely find one that starts and doesn't look at social media as a very viable way to make more money, right? Pretty much every business that's started nowadays, one of the first things they're probably going to do, even before they have products to sell, is they're going to build a social media presence. Build a presence that then they can funnel to their email list, to their website, to eventually then buy their products. Really, the demand for this has exploded. And while people will get caught up in the trends that happen every year, crypto is booming right now. Last year, everybody lost their minds over AI automation. This has and is, and I know it will be, something that just works every single month. But it's not going to be as shiny, right? Because somebody's going to package something like this up in a new label with a new term, and it's going to sound amazing. But this is the reality of what it is, offering services to companies, and it works. So phase one for you starting this is to pick a service. Okay, get very clear on what you will offer to companies. We don't want to offer everything to everybody. When you're starting, it's okay to work with different types of businesses, right? Businesses that sell different types of services and products, and businesses that are in different industries. That's fine. What our goal here is getting your first few clients where you can kind of get what we say, the lay of the land, right? You can get a feel of different industries and how different businesses work. And eventually then you'll know long-term which type of companies might be best for you to focus in on long-term. But we do need to have one service, because if you're trying to offer everything to everybody, you're just going to get overwhelmed. You're going to be trying to learn web design, email marketing, social media marketing, paid advertising, all at the same time, when one, you're just not going to get very good at one of them. And even if you do get good at them and you've got, let's say, 4 clients, all with a different service, how are you ever going to be able to automate it? How are you going to be able to hand it off to somebody? You won't. You'll probably have to hire 4 or 5 different people. When we have one thing, this is what I did in my business, one service, we could hire a team pretty fast. We could get the business, pretty much 80 to 90% automated pretty damn quickly. So that's phase one. We got to make sure that you pick a service that actually works for you. Now, you don't need to be an expert at that service, right? You could offer social media marketing services where you've never managed a social media page before, because in reality, it's not rocket science. It's probably the easiest service you could learn. So that's where I would put my preference. Phase two, I would focus on where companies are. So where can you find companies that are actually looking for help with this? Upwork.com is one of our favorite platforms right now, because it's a marketplace, meaning that companies go on there, set up an account, they post a job, and they allocate a budget. So you're actually only going to speak to business owners that are serious, that have the budget, and actually want to pay somebody to do this, right? It means that on a sales cycle perspective, right, from somebody 0 not wanting to buy something and 10 really wanting to buy something, the people on Upwork are close to 10, right? They're probably an 8 or a 9. They've literally decided, I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to put money behind it. I just got to find the right person. So that's phase two, is really going to a platform like Upwork where you know there's companies there and start reaching out to them. Before you go and actually reach out, you'll want to make sure that you have your packages made out. If you don't have set packages, it's okay. You might do custom pricing where you would speak to a business owner, and then based on what they've said that they need help with, you would go and then create a custom package. But it's always a good idea to have at least 2 or 3 packages pre-made, pre-built before you speak to them, so you can at least show them those and offer those to see if one of those fits what they're looking for. Phase 3 is actually getting good at sales, because even though there's going to be companies on Upwork saying, hey, we need help with this thing, and hey, this is the budget that we're going to put behind it, they're not going to just hand over money. You've got to obviously build up trust with them. You've got to make sure that they feel like you're the right fit. So for example, if you're a beginner, you've never done this before, one of the things that we typically do with my mentorship students is we try and connect them with a graphic designer or a video editor who has proof, who has a portfolio, who has plenty of results that we can then take and show to potential clients and phrase it in a way that we explain, hey, this is what our team can do. These are just some examples and some sample results that our team have achieved. And this helps bridge that gap. It'll give you more confidence, and for them, it will typically put their mind at ease, knowing that you're not just doing this alone as a beginner. You've actually got people who have got experience that are going to work with you. So once you've figured out what you're going to offer, you've found the platform that they're going to be posting jobs on, like Upwork. You've learned how to effectively communicate your expertise or your team's expertise, and you start to now sign clients. Stage 4 is to just make sure that we have a good system to deliver that service. Because this business model is not about trying to sell as many people. We really only need to sell a couple of businesses for you to make pretty damn good money. There's some people I work with, a guy Adam, for example, and I just interviewed on YouTube. He's got a food business and it does really well. It's on track for about 500,000 euro in revenue this year. But the profit margin of that business, it's quite low. As you can imagine, he's got team members, full-time employees, he's got a food truck, he's got insurance, he's got a ton of things to think about. And he started marketing at about 4 or 5 months ago, really because he saw, okay, this thing would be quite the opposite. I could have a very small team, work with just a handful of clients and make really damn good money. He's making 5.5k a month, pretty much all profit, and he's got just 5 clients. So each client is paying him 1,100 euro per month. In dollars, that's about $1,300 each per month. So with Adam, he doesn't need to sign new clients every month. He pretty much knows now if he just continues getting good results with them, they should stick with him. Of course, there will come a time where 1 or 2 of those clients may drop off. Something may happen in their business and they can't afford it anymore. But by that time, he'll have hopefully gotten new clients. With the system we use with our mentorship students, we should bring in 1 to 2 clients per month. And so before you go and execute on those 4 phases, I think it's really important that you know some of the pitfalls that a lot of people fall into. First is just perfectionism. People think that they can't go on Upwork because they don't have results. They can't go on Upwork and try and apply to jobs because there's going to be somebody with more experience. And yes, you're true. That is the reality, but that's also the reality for the entire world. If you're a beginner starting anything, there's always going to be a learning curve. So don't let perfectionism hold you back. You're going to get better as you do this. You're not going to get better by just learning more about it, right? Of course, there's a point at which you need to learn, but once you've learned enough, you need to go and take action. And your learning then comes from taking action. My first client, when they paid me, it was a lot of money, $1,200. I kind of lost my mind. I thought, what? Like, this is crazy, right? So that forced me, gave me all the motivation I ever needed to get really good at this, because I knew, okay, their money is on the line. I've got to make sure I do this thing right and do it well and get really good at this so they stick around long term. Guess what? They stuck around for 20 months. Okay, they paid a lot of money, and that's because we just got obsessed that we got to make this work. But imagine I tried to get obsessed about making it work before I even had clients. Then it wouldn't have worked. Mistake 2 that I see so many people run into is trying to offer everything. I've mentioned it before, I'll say it again. Do not go and offer every marketing service. Do not go and offer every marketing service out there. If you do that, it's a pretty surefire way of making sure this doesn't work for you. Or you'll get to 1 or 2 clients and you'll burn out, and then you'll say the business model doesn't work. Mistake 3 is competing on price, thinking that you have to be the cheapest because you're a beginner. This is just not true, and this is not the way to get the best clients. If you do that, yes, you might get clients, but you're not going to get the best clients. You're going to get clients that are very picky, very price sensitive, and probably not the easiest to work with. And mistake 4 is not building systems. All right, if you get 4 clients, and let's say you're working a 9-to-5 job, so you've got about 2 hours a day to maybe put into this. Well, at 4 clients, you doing everything yourself, you're going to be pretty maxed out. Okay, you might be making 2, 3, 4,000 per month with that, and that's good, but you're not going to be able to scale with that. So that's when you have to start hiring people, building the systems that allow them to do the work behind the scenes, then hand it over to you and you present it to the client. So the key is that once you start getting clients is to document things right away. Look for help, hire the right people, and build the systems. So at this point in my journey, I have built the 7-figure marketing business and I also sold it. I had a business partner and I sold my half to him. So at this point in my journey, I'm mainly focused on helping people do this, whether they're a beginner trying to just start off or somebody that's got a bit of experience and wants to scale this up. I've helped well over 100 people get pretty damn good results at this point. That's over 100 people making kind of minimum around 5,000 per month. And on the upper levels, we've had people get to like 40, 50,000 per month as well. I do mentorship. It is one-on-one. It's not for everybody. If you want the details on it, you can see some information in the description of this video and I'll see you there.